of happiness closes, there is always another one opens, right? But we often look so long at the closed door, and we do not see the one which is open for us. This is very true, and most of us are victims to this, including me. Make it more clear, let me share a simple story which I came across, reminding the choice that we have to think either positive or negative. Right? There was this once an old lady who carried all the time, and she was like always crying, and because her elder daughter was married to an umbrella merchant, while the younger daughter was married to a noodle vendor, the guy who sells noodle, right? On sunny days, she worried, oh no, the weather is so nice and sunny. No one is going to buy umbrella from my elder daughter. What will happen if the shop has closed? These worried made her sad. She just could not help but cry. When it rained, she would cry for the younger daughter. She thought, oh no, my younger daughter is married to a noodle vendor. They'll not be able to dry noodles in the sun. So now there will be nobody to sell the noodles, and people will not buy it, and what to do? So she'll feel very, very sad when it becomes, when for the winter, she feels bad for the younger daughter. And when it comes to summer, she feels bad for the elder daughter. So she approached, one day she met a monk. He was very curious as to why she was always crying. So she explained the problem to him. The monk smiled kindly and said, sister, you need not worry. I will show you the way to happiness, and you will need not to grieve anymore. So the crying lady was excited, and she immediately asked the monk to show her what to do. The master replied, it is very simple. You just need to change your perspective. On sunny days, do not think of your elder daughter and not be able to sell umbrella, but the younger daughter being able to dry her noodles. With such good, strong sunlight, she must be able to make plenty of noodles, and her business must be very good. When it rains, think about the umbrella store of the elder daughter. With the rain, everyone must be buying umbrellas. So she will sell a lot of umbrellas, and her store will prosper. The old lady all of a sudden saw the light. She followed the monk's instruction. After a while, she did not cry anymore. Instead, she was smiling every day. From that day onward, she was known as a smiling lady from the crying lady standpoint. Okay, what am I trying to say here? It is all about looking at the positive side of everything and stop worrying about the negative side of it, right? Our minds are incredibly powerful. We underestimate our mind so low. We only use a small portion of it every day. Our thoughts in our mind play a significant role in how we view the world, and the positive versus negative thoughts we carry with us, right? So it said that 65,000 plus thoughts that flip through our minds each day. I'm not joking. It's 65,000 plus thoughts that flip through our minds each day, right? Do you believe or not? That's a statistics that says 95 of them are the same ones we thought yesterday. Isn't that amazes you? We have 65,000 plus thoughts every day, out of which 95 of them is the same ones we thought yesterday. Yes, 95%. Why in the world do we do that? Any idea? Anybody from the group? You can unmute yourself and response.
Because we don't have new thoughts.
Good. We don't have new thought. Okay. Anything else?
Maybe that's the one it bothers a lot.
That's the one that bothers a lot. Good.
So
what else?
I think that's the pattern our brains are used to.
That's a pattern our brains are used to. Okay. The simple answer, most of us live in the past or the future, missing the only time that really counts and really matters, the present, right? So it is so fascinating that 95% of our time we keep thinking about what has happened yesterday or what will happen in the future, and we leave out the very present memories that we have, right? uh, it is very important that we need to live in the present, and for which, there are a lot of surroundings around us that will definitely gonna boggle us down. But how are we gonna live the present, and what is that we will have to do? Can we have the presentation, please? So while he's bringing up the presentation, so right, so this is basically how, this basically talking about power of positivity. I know we are continuing in this period, which is Corona lockdown. A lot of people losing jobs. A lot of people do not know what the future is going to hold for them, and the entire economy is actually shattering across the world. People are scared what is going to happen post lockdown. Will I be able to survive post lockdown? Will I have to adapt myself to new skills? There are several questions that's going around in our hearts, right? It is valid to feel helpless about the situation, as the things are not under our control or going way out of control, right? We are facing the unexpected, which none of us thought about it a couple of months ago, but the weight is there. But is there anything that we can do in this situation? Feeling rejected, feeling bad, that's not going to take us anywhere. Agree? So we need to ensure that we keep our spirits uh, always positive, right? How do we do that? How do we do that? We do that. Next slide, please. Uh, we do that basically by having your minds programmed to think in a fashion that whatever situation comes through, we would be able to tune our minds to look at it positively. Prem, how is that even possible, right? No, not this slide, the one before this, please. So this is basically, meaning it's called emotional resilience, right? So emotional resilience. Before I go to emotional resilience, I wanted to talk to you about what is emotional intelligence. Okay, that's what you want to learn in this session, right? Emotional intelligence is something that people are looking forward for, and all the top leaders and CEOs and CFOs are not being assessed, emotional intelligence. It's otherwise called, sorry, emotional intelligence. It's otherwise called emotional quotient. Usually people will be talking about people had to have IQ. You heard of that word, IQ, intelligent quotient. Now people are moving towards become EQ, which is the emotional quotient, nothing but emotional intelligence, right? It's an ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in a positive way to relieve stress. If anybody up there managing a huge organization or running a greatest thing, the only thing that the organization today looking at it, what is their emotional quotient all about? How is their emotional intelligence? Nobody is worried about IQ, intelligent quotient, that will always come. So they're not really worried about that. But this is very important. So emotional intelligence, as I told you, is an ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in a positive way to relieve stress. And emotional resilience refers to one's ability to adapt to stressful situation or crisis, right? So we need to be emotionally intelligent so that we will be emotionally resilient, right? Uh, so we should be able to adapt to a stressful situation, but how do you do it? Meaning we all go through the stress. The next slide, please. We all go through stress of some kind in our lives. No stress in life will create boredom and stagnation. high stress will be problematic and draining, right? So we should definitely have some level of stress. It's always good, right? So that level of stress will give you or help our cognitive function of our brains. It will help to our cognitive functions of brain more. It'll help us to think better and clearly, right? So stress you consider as to be a good stress, which is the not the high, not the low, but somewhere in between. That's called eustress. Okay, it allows you to engage in the challenges of life and offset boredom, right? It is very, very important. So our stress is like a rubber band. We all have seen the rubber band, right? If it is loose, it has no effect. If it is stretched too much, it may get snapped. So if it has been stretched to the proper, appropriate, angle or a position, then it is of helpful. So whatever stress that we are having today, okay, I do not know what kind of a stress you have. Okay, I'm not here to help you. Hey, how can you get your job back, and how can you do different things to make your living better? I'm not here to talk about that, but I'm here to talk to you about how do you effectively manage your stress and be able to work your stress in such a fashion that you will be emotionally resilient, right? Next slide, please. So what we will learn in the next 45 minutes, one is we will identify what resilience is and how to develop it, and how emotional resilience is integral part of emotional intelligence, and how to overcome stress and lead a positive life, right? This is the three things that you will take away from this program that I have created, right? Now I'll open to the crowd to ask you, what is your expectation when you came into this session? I can have about like few people respond to this so that I know that if I'm touching that points or not. If not, I will touch that point as well. But your learning objective by end of this session would be to identify what emotional resilience is and how to develop it, and what resilience is an integral part of emotional intelligence, and how to overcome the stress that you are currently having and leading a positive life. So this is what I would do. But let me ask you, what is an expectation that you have in your mind when you came and sat in this program? Can I have some responses, please? Bro, I don't know. Felix told me to attend. Can I have some responses, please?
Yeah, I would say that to gather some tools so that you could handle life challenges better.
Okay. So basically, action strategy. What actions that I should take? What are the things that I need to do exactly? Is that what you're looking at, Abraham?
Hello, for me, I thought how to cope this situation in a more positive way. That's what my thought when I joined this.
Sure. So let me paraphrase your response. So you basically said that, how do I tide over this phase and be able to still be able to be happy, and is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Bro, I felt I'm going to learn something, how to approach the situations and what I go through in positive manner, how I can be in positive mindset in my life. That is what I thought to enter.
Okay, how to have a positive mindset in times of distress.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah, no, I feel that no, we instead of feeling like loneliness, many times the loneliness will bring more stressful. And if we, to understand everyone going through the stress, so I
Right.
try to make myself someone is there, or try to connect with someone when we sharing my stress, which will help me to relieve easily.
Right. Right. Okay. Fantastic. Anybody else?
I came with an open mind to know what is that you're going to mean by positive thinking, positive living. What is the definition that you're going to give? So I came to in a way of learning what is that it means.
Right. Okay. Perfect. Thanks, Julie.
And I'm basically a positive person. From out of every situation, I'll always think, what can I see positive in this? But in the process of doing so, sometimes I feel like, there is stress there, which is not, dealt with. So I felt like that's something which I will learn to even to cope up with the untouched areas of my life.
Right. Okay. Fantastic. Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, well, I just came here to just get updated myself. That's what I came for this. And I felt like I need to know more. I felt like, yeah, of course, everybody knows that we are all in the lockdown section and all these things. But then how to cope up with certain things, practical things in life, that's what I just came up.
Thank you. Yeah, I think my program will definitely be able to cover most of whatever you guys said. So to Abraham's question, if you're looking at some tools, I will send you those links to those tools. It's about some of the tools will help you to improve your brain's muscle. So there are some exercise that I can share it with you so that it'll improve your brain muscle. And then so every part of your body, you could exercise it and make it grow and more functional. In the similar fashion, Abraham, there are some tools that are available to improve the working of your brain. So we do have a left brain and the right brain. Left brain is more of analytical, language, math, logic, right? Right brain is always into creativity, um, visual, and emotional, right? This is on the right hand side of the brain, right? So there are set of activities that you could do to improve which one of yours. Most of us are designed to use our left brain so much because that's how our education system had induced to work more on the left brain. That is why a lot of students, if you would see, who has a right brain kind of a person will not excel. They will not score great marks. It is not because of their problem. It is how our educational curriculums are designed to work only on the left side of the brain, not on the right side of the brain. Right hand side of the brain creates a lot of creativity. It feels a lot of emotions. It's more into a psychology-based understanding of people. So all of that happens on the right hand side. On the left hand side, it's more rational. So if you're looking at some tools on to develop this, yes, Abraham, I will certainly share it with you. Other than that, I think the rest of the people, whatever that you guys had as told, I think I'll be able to handle it, right? So
Thanks, Prem. Thank you.
most welcome, Abraham. So there are, resilience is very, very important. Okay. So resilience in any situation is very important. So how do we resist? How would we overcome this? Is what we will basically learn. So the next slide, please. There are three phases that drains our resilience, right? Resilience is the ability to fight back and adapt to a stressful situation, right? Ability to adapt to a stressful situation. But there are three phases that drains the resilience. Okay. Basically, the phrase resilience involves bouncing back, right? That's a spelling error. It's called the bouncing back. If somebody could change that, it'll be great. Sorry, that's my bad. So it's bouncing back means getting a way out of your stressful condition. Okay, that's resilience, right? You would continue to evolve and improve from learning from environment and your mistakes. And in this way, you will be able to develop your resilience, being adaptable to current situation, right? Resilience people will be able to manage their positive and negative emotions very, very well. Some emotions are good and some are bad, right? So, for example, to be more careful and attention what you think. So fear basically is associated to a negative emotion. Everybody agrees, right? Does fear is associated mostly to a negative emotion? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. So mostly, meaning fear, basically they feel that it's a negative emotion, but we enjoy horror movies. We like that fear, and some people enjoy horror movies. Okay, I enjoy horror movies, but then Prem, how it is supposed to be a negative emotion? In the same way, happiness considered to be a positive emotion, and it's basically a state of bliss. You forget everything, but at the same time, being happy at a very solemn occasion is not good. And when you're too happy, you will not be able to think critically and sharply. uh, so how do you even manage uh, this positive and negative emotions? Okay, when should I be happy, when should I not be happy? If there are some fears, is it good? Some people enjoy some fear, some people do not enjoy happiness, which is okay. Okay, so emotional intelligence is nothing but an ability to use the right emotion at the right time. Okay, that's what we will learn. So so that's exactly what it says, that first is resilience involves bouncing back, then you manage positive and negative emotions very well, and then how to have a great work life balance is what you need to think. Next slide, please. Right. So why do you feel stressed? Change in life as an unsettling effect. Okay, so today is the COVID situation. And second, if you're feeling challenged or threatened by an outside force, a loss of job or health, so that's when we'll feel stressed. When we experience a loss of personal control, then we feel very, 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 very stressed, right? The next slide, please. So what are the personal attitudes and behaviors that may cause stress, right? So if you look at it, some of the personal attitude and behavior that may cause us stress is one, that we have unrealistic expectation. Okay, and if you're not able to meet that, we feel very stressful. And second one is being a perfectionist. We will not be, so that will kind of cause us. Then being self-critical, always talk about I'm not good, I'm really bad. So this one is going to cause you a lot of stress. Making assumptions. I think this is going to go wrong. I think they feel bad about me. I think they are good. They will not be good to me. I think that I'm going to fail. So this things is going to cause you a lot of stress. Feeling powerless. I will not be able to do anything. I give up. Comparing yourself with others. Being pessimistic or worrying. Okay, these are all some of the personal attitudes and behaviors that's going to cause a lot of stress to us, right? So how do we even overcome it? Okay, what do we do? Prem, yes, I have some of these. Okay, you may not have all of this, but sometimes you may have some of these. This is the personal attitude and behavior. The previous one is that environmental changes that causing you stress, right? So how do we even overcome it? Okay, so we will go and then look at some of the action strategy. What is my first action strategy for me to overcome stress? Okay, next slide, please. See, first action strategy is view the world as complex and challenging, but filled with opportunity. Okay, so it is very, very important for us to view the world. I know it is challenging at this point of time, but if you look at it, you will be able to find some of the opportunities, right? Then hold a positive perception about yourself. That's very, very important. Okay, I am good. I have my talent. I'm skillful. God loves me. I have a family. I have food. So have a positive perception about yourself. Defend yourself well. What do you mean by defend yourself? Can anybody say any response for defending yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. I can face any problem. You know, I have a lot of strength. It's like a pep talk, you know, defending yourself that you can come out of the situation.
Right, right. So thanks, Felix.
So
Anybody
what
else?
I feel is maybe what I feel is maybe if any negativity is coming up, then I can give that negative thoughts to defend myself itself. Self-talk, actually, positive self-talk.
Very true, very true, very true. So when you thank you very much. So when you when do you feel in control? When you look at the world filled with opportunity, and when you hold positive perception about yourself, then when you defend yourself is basically talking to yourself, saying that I am not going to fall for this. This self-talk that you need to say to yourself, things will change, things are going to be good. Okay, how many of you watched this movie called Trance, a Malayalam movie? Yeah, so in that movie, if you would see, he's a motivational trainer. The guy every day wakes up and he self-motivate himself. He goes stand in the mirror and say, he lives in a shack. He has a very broken family. His father and mother are not with him. His brother committed suicide. He's living at the very verge of his life. But when he gets up every day morning, he goes and defends himself so very well. Everything is going to be fine. You're going to do pretty well. This situation is going to pass. So this is very, very important for us to say. But when you say it, you need to believe. You need to believe that. That's called feeling in control is all about, right? Putting our trust in God and say that, this is going to go well for me today, right? That's very, very important. Then be confident in your ability to meet any challenge with hope and realistic optimism, right? So you need to be able to see confident. Okay, before you start any of it, you don't say, I don't think so, I will be able to complete it. So that's not what we want. You should have or meet any challenge with the hope and realistic optimism is very important. The emotion that's going to stop you from feeling in control are number one is hopelessness. Number two, discomfort. Number three is disappointment, right? So these are the three emotions that will stop you from feeling in control. Are you feeling hopeless today? Are you feeling discomfort today? Are you feeling disappointed today? Then you're not feeling in control of yourself, right? It is very, very important. The emotion that will enable you to feel in control are three again: self-esteem, contentment, and optimism, right? If you want to be feeling in control, the first thing is you need to have a good self-esteem about yourself. You are good. You are God chosen. There's no design flaw in me because God has designed me, right? You should feel so confident about yourself. He has brought me this far and he's going to take me further also. This situation also will pass. So that kind of a self-esteem. Then the second thing is you need to have the contentment. I am enough. It's good, whatever I have at this point of our time. Look at the optimism. Okay, this is going to change. That's what optimism is going to be, right? There are two types of chronic complainers. Is there? There's other people who look at things very, very positive, right? So this lady I started with, she looked at only, oh my God, the rain is going to come. My younger daughter is not going to be selling the noodles. She'll not be able to dry the noodles on the sun. Like she's looked only at the negative part of it, but she's not looking at the positive side of it. So this is very, very important. That's one of the action strategies, right? Next slide, please. Be realistic about what you can do and what you cannot do, right? So you cannot, if you start a project or if you're doing something, right, you need to be able to say, this is doable, this is not doable. Have a realistic expectation on what is going to happen, what is not going to happen, right? Okay, so basically what I'm trying to say is a very, very small plan, short goals. Set small, short goals that you can achieve. Do not think anything so big, okay? A lot of people have this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this in 21 days, I'm going to do that, I'm going to call it. No, 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 no. Okay, hang on, take a break. You need to only have set small, short-term goals. This week, and I'm going to do this, that's all. We will see what happens next week, right? Hey, Prem, is that not, don't you think that we need to plan big? Yeah, so you need to have larger vision, but you need to have a shorter goals. To achieve a larger vision, you should have a shorter goals. That's very, very important, right? Then challenging your own self limits, right? Everybody had done something good in the past, right? And we know that, hey, this is my capability. Try and push that capability to little more. You will be able to do it, right? People who are going to gym will be able to relate. The first time when you do the push-ups, you will not be able to do more, right? Then if you do first set, you'll just do a little, and then the second day you will do more, and third day you more. So you basically try and push. The last 5 repetition is very, very difficult. But if you keep pushing yourself, you will be able to do it. That's when you will see results coming, right? So tell yourself you can do it and prove yourself to be right. So that's very, very important. Yeah, communicate your intention clearly to the others and encourage their support. Guys, this is very important at this point of time. Hey, this is where my situation is. This is what I'm going to do. Is that okay? Then let people respond to you and then say, yes, this is good or not. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so stress signals, okay, this is the signs of stress overload usually fall into this 4 broad category, right? One is feelings, one are thoughts, one are behavior, and physical symptom. Next slide, please. So when you're feeling anxious, when you feel irritable, fearful, moody, embarrassed, distracted, frustrated, see, all of these are feelings, okay, I understand, right? So you should be able to understand that, hey, I am not going to allow any of these feelings going to dominate my inner self. I know things are going to go, but I'm going to use my strategy of making sure that I'm not going to get anxious or irritable, fearful, or moody, or any of that kind. Right? The next thought, please. The second stress signals that you will see. Self-criticism, okay? If you're self-criticizing yourself, if you're not able to make decisions, if you keep forgetting, you're preoccupied by some news or something that people have always said that to you, repetitive negative thoughts, or living in the past, the 95% of your thought, you're living the yesterday's thought, and fear of failure. See, this was going to definitely cause you stress. So these are all the symptoms. If you're having any of these, then you are undergoing stress and it is not good for you. Yeah. Is somebody saying something? Okay.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So moving on, okay. If your behavior is nervous, you'll start to cry very easily. You're acting impulsive. Your change in appetite, meaning you're not able to eat very well, or you're eating a lot, or you're snapping at friends, meaning, or you're increasing your, bad habits. You will, there's a prone to accidents, right? So these are all some of the behaviors that you need to watchful about. These are all something that if any of this is there with you, then you're falling under one of the stress category, right? This is a physical symptom, okay? If you're very tense, you have a tight muscle, okay, just look at your shoulders and touch here, and then see if it's really, really tight. And if it's really tight, and then you are you are under stress, if you have constant headaches or frequent headaches, right, then you are, hello, yep, Okay, so back and neck problem.
I said my shoulder is always tight.
Maybe I think you need to release some stress, Abraham. So you need to do some stress busters, I guess. Yeah. So when you have sleep disturbances, okay, stomach distress. A lot of people have the stomach problem most of the times. Often catch cold and infection. The heart is always pounding. You know, they're little breathless. They kind of little trembling and fear. So these are all, you know, meaning 4 symptoms of feeling, thoughts, behavior, and the physical symptom. Okay, if any of this is there with you, okay, it is important. How do you respond to it is very, very important. Okay, the next slide. It says, how do you respond to this stress? Okay, either you can resist this, you avoid it, or you adapt to it, right? So today, are you pleased with your current coping strategy? Whatever I told you in the 4 categories, okay? Feelings, thoughts, behavior, and physical symptom. If you have this thought, if you have this any of these symptoms, right? Are you resisting it? Are you avoiding it? Or you're adapting to it? Okay. So it is very, very important. Okay. Let's hear from few of you. Are you pleased with your current coping strategy? Are you anybody would like to say anything? Yes, Abraham said I have hard shoulders all the time. So are you doing anything about it?
I think for me, going for a run or doing some kind of a physical exercise makes me more relaxed. Especially, I think running goes a long way for me. It just allows me to be more relaxed. Just
Yeah.
sweat it out. That helps.
Yeah, so that's one of the coping strategy. I think you just run, you free your mind, you take more oxygen intake. The more oxygen you take, you know, it goes into the brain and it makes brain to work fine, and it relieves some of your pains and it makes you lose. Yeah, wonderful coping strategy. Anybody else? Anything that you've seen, not in this behavior, be it feelings or the feelings or thoughts or emotions and anything, you know, meaning.
For me, I think going to gym, do some exercise. It relieves me. It gives me new, what is it? Rejuvenates me when I go to
Right,
gym.
right. Okay. Anybody else?
So I do yoga. Basically, this Nalini, I do yoga and meditation. So
Yeah,
that really
that
helps
helps.
me
Yeah. So
every day. That keeps me calm. So that
fantastic. So
For me, I write down. I take a paper and write down what are my thoughts.
very
So
good.
so it helps me to be put it into words. What is that really bothering? Pin it down. Write it
Right,
clearly. That helps.
right. So just go to the previous slide now, please, Ramesh. So go one before that, please. Yeah. So when you're fearful or you're anxious, some people will write, and then when you're let's go. You know, if somebody has moody, how do you think you'll be able to overcome that? Or somebody is embarrassed, how do you think you'll overcome that? Has anybody wants to say anything? Thoughts?
Generally, breathing helps actually. Taking a
Generally,
deep breath, like, minimum like 5 times,
okay,
and maybe taking a walk 5
okay,
minutes to 10 minutes. Because see, I'm a hypothyroid patient, so I have sometime, I have this mood swings. So this is something I've been doing it over 3 years now.
right,
So that helped me to, when I have anxiety or fearful about something,
right,
or if I think that I am snapping at someone, or
right.
something is going over me, that's what I do.
Fantastic.
For me,
Okay,
it has been useful, yeah.
right. Ramesh, next slides, please. Next slide.
Maybe
Ramesh, yeah. Next slide, please. Yeah, go ahead. Somebody was saying something. Yes, please.
yeah, bro. Actually, what I feel is when we talk about what we go through, a particular stress, we can talk to someone who's closing. Maybe
Absolutely.
we can come out a little bit actually.
Absolutely,
I'm
absolutely. The
practicing
support,
that.
yeah, encourage other support is definitely. Yeah, next slide, please. Okay, let's see, you know, some of the coping strategy. Yes, next, please. Yeah, next. Yeah. Yeah, so this is action strategy 2. Okay, first strategy that we saw was feel in control, right? The second action strategy is there's a background noise, please. Second action strategy is create a personal vision. Okay, this is very, very important. Okay, so if you have to overcome whatever you are going through at this point of time, I do not know what it is, but you need to have a clear vision of what you want to accomplish and achieve it, right? So this clear vision, you need to write what is that you wanted to achieve, and what else that you wanted to accomplish. That's very, very important. Okay, so approach the adversity, okay, or whatever the problem is, and stress with a sense of hope. Okay, the moment you look at a problem, or moment you look at your situation, if you feel, oh my gosh, this is gonna crush me out, this is not gonna help me through, if you have that attitude, uh, it's not going to work. So you need to approach adversity and stress with a sense of hope. That's very, very important, right? And let your purpose and belief carry you forward in life. So this is very, very important, that you need to ensure that stick to whatever the purpose and belief that you have, and then it will definitely carry forward in life. So, but please approach your problem or your stress with a sense of hope. That's very, very important. Next slide, please. So, next slide, please. Yeah, set yourself a clear goal, an objective, and focusing on what you want to achieve. That's very, very important. Okay, everybody, uh, uh, think about the 4 category that the stress that was falling into, and set a clear goal, okay, and an objective of what you want to achieve. Maybe you can write it down as I'm talking, but this is what I wanted to achieve in the next 1 week. This is what I wanted to achieve in the next 1 month, whatever that is, right? Then the second thing that, first you need to have that goal, the broader goal. Then the second one is you need to establish a plan that will accomplish your goal. Hey, in order for me to get there, what are these small short-term goals or a plan that I need to make in order for me to achieve the big goal, right? Then ensure that the plan is made up of small achievable steps. I'm keep repeating small achievable step is because there are a lot of victories you will see in small achievable step. That's going to boost your morale. That's going to boost your positivity, and you will be able to carry it through, right? And then remain committed, even if the event takes you away from your plan for a short while, right? That's okay. We will fail, right? We make big plans, and halfway through we will not be able to achieve. Don't get discouraged. Okay, that's okay. Go back and restart it. That is very, very important. A lot of people, we are very good at making plan. We're very good at making making sure that we're going to do this, but then course of that time, it fumbles. But just go back and keep doing it, challenging your own self-limiting beliefs. Okay, I cannot do it. No, that word should never come. Next slide, please. Yeah. So coping with stress, there's many ways to manage unhealthy stress in life. Some of the strategies that you've learned, feeling in control. Okay, that's the first thing that is the first thing that we talked about is feeling in control. The second thing is what we talked about is having create a personal vision. Okay, that's very, very important. Okay, so one of the things that as the church member that we can do is to have a support group where we can share. The next slide, please. Bottled up emotions increase frustration and stress. It is important that you talk to your family member or a good friend in the church, and then and if you don't have anybody, write down your feelings and thoughts and then email it to somebody if you don't want to talk. But this is very, very important. Number one, that we need to develop a support system. Next slide, please. Right. Number two, we have to get organized. It's very, very important that we get organized. A lot of our stress itself, for some of the housewives, when they are at home, when the house is untidy, or if people are running around here and there, if it looks very chaotic, that itself is going to cause a lot of stress. Okay, plan ahead, schedule your time, got to establish your priorities, Include time for stress reduction as a regular part of your schedule, going to the gym, taking a walk, doing a meditation, talking to somebody else, and then try, problem solve instead of worrying. Okay, your brain is like a CPU, right? Whatever you ask and it'll throw you, right? The more you think about, why am I worrying like that, it'll only keep giving you all the worrying thoughts. The moment you think about how can I solve this problem, you will eventually get a lot of ideas. So it's very, 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 very important, right? The next slide, please. So yeah, positive self-talk, monitor your negative emotions. It's very, very important. And when are you becoming negative? When there are some boundaries that you should have. Hey, I think that I'm getting into a negative part of it. You know it. I'll not be able to tell you, but you know it, right? Give yourself a pep talk. It's very important. Go stand in front of the mirror and say that yourself. Very, very important. Practice saying things like, I can do this. I can do this. This has worked wonders for many people. Okay, initially it might sound a little odd to you. When you do that, you might not believe it. You might feel, I don't think so this is going to happen. But tell me this, your brain will react to whatever you say. Your brain will not be able to differentiate between what is true, what is false. Whatever you believe, it will happen. Okay, so if I'm going to talk about eating a raw mango, if I'm going to talk about squeezing a lime into your mouth, it trickles down your tongue and all that stuff, some people will salivate because the brain doesn't understand. The moment I say about some juice or some raw mango, you're biting it, or a lime, I'm squeezing it in your tongue, you always feel that your brain doesn't understand that. It will react to that, and there is an enzymes that comes out of it. So it is very important to have this self-talk. Okay, so first is you develop a support system, you get organized, you do the self-talk, and the next would be is take care of your body. Next slide, please. So take care of your body. It's very, very important that healthy eating, one of the important thing to reduce your stress, and adequate sleep. I think I do not know how your sleep patterns are, but it is very, very important. At least you get about 7 to 8 hours of sleep, right, to fuel your mind as well as your body, right? And a lot of people say walking and exercising, yeah, it's good. Avoid consuming too much of caffeine and sugar at this point of a time. It's not good. A lot of people have a lot of cokes at home. A lot of people keep drinking a lot of coffees. Not good. Okay, this is gonna increase a lot of stress in you guys. Okay, next one, please. So this is more important. Okay, these are all some of the tips, but this is more important. Changing your attitude. Okay, think about the stressful event in a different way. That's very, very important. I do not know what is yours, okay, but you need to think about it in a different way, right? Look for the positive side of it, okay? That's very, very important, right? So there's a lot of forwards that comes in the in the WhatsApp. One of the things that I read about is about this old man. I don't know whether you guys have heard. There's this old man who was there in the hospital for corona, and then he's been on the ventilator. He's 73 years old. Then he was, people came and said that it cost you about it's going to cost you about it is background noise, please. Yeah, so they gave him the ventilator and they said it's about $5,000 per day for that. And then he started to cry. Then the doctor said, hey, don't worry, okay, so we will take care of the bill, don't cry for that. But then this guy says, no, I'm not crying because of that. So I was thinking for the last 73 years that I've been inhaling the oxygen from God. I never paid him anything, I need to pay him a lot of money, but he just gave everything free. So he basically looked at it as it's an opportunity to think about the stressful situation into something great. And he said that, hey, 73 years I did not pay this is nothing for me type. So he basically changing his attitude. So that's very, very important. And then look for a positive side of it. It's very, very important. The 10th apple effect, I think a lot of people would have read that as well, right? There's a guy who goes hunting. He'll get lost in the forest. He did not have anything to eat. 3 days gone by, he was so hungry. Finally, his eyes caught an apple tree. Then he was so excited and he couldn't believe that he found apples on the tree. Then he picked up the first apple and ate. He was super excited. There was so much of joy inside him. The second apple that he ate, his joy is reduced a little bit, and third and fourth. And the 10th apple he was not at all excited about, right? So, but then he never thought, meaning third day you would have died, right? So, but he just got this apple, he should be happy. But this is basically in economics thought, it's a law of diminishing margin. Otherwise, a simple words, it's called ungrateful attitude that we have, not being gratitude for what we already have in life. I think we are the hunters and the apples are what God has given in our lives. So life is about 10% of what happens to us and 90% how we react to it. So it's the way that how we think about it. So whatever is happening right now is nothing, okay? What you make out of it is absolutely in your hand. Like if you had to look positively about this and then being grateful for whatever that God has given you, we are all the hunters. Okay, so God's blessing is those apples. I think we should have the 10th apple also when we eat. We need to be super grateful for what's around us. So I think we focus on what's around us, what we got. A lot of people are so excited today saying, hey, I got a vegetable today. 2 months back, that's not the scenario. Hey, today they gave me 2 bottles of water and I'm like super excited. Somebody said, hey, I'm happy that I'm able to breathe fresh air. A lot of people don't even realize it 2 months ago. So I think it's all about how do you see the things around you is what makes you, right? You got to be flexible and adaptable to the situation, right? Be sensitive to the change in environment, but at the same time, be flexible and adaptive. Next slide, please. So, okay. So we need to practice acceptance. This is very, very important. Accept the things in your life which you cannot change. Okay. So this is very, very important. Why it is not changing? No, accept it. Remember, you cannot or should not try to control people or its situations. That's not going to happen. Anticipate change so that you can be better prepared with contingency plans, right? This has happened. Okay. What else that I need to do? Don't think about why it has happened, but just think about the contingency. Then your brain will automatically give you, right? Yeah, positively move forward rather than dwelling in the past. It's very, very important. It happened. You can't change about it. Practice acceptance. You say, this happened. There's nothing more that I could do. So, but what can I do? Oh, why did he do that? Why it happened to me? Why only me? No, just move on. Next slide, please. So it is very important that you take mini breaks from whatever you're doing. Use imagery to create a quiet scene. You can always you can go, you can always get away, but you can always dream. So it's easy. Surround yourself with favorite memories. Burn a scented candle. Play relaxing music. This is gonna ease out your stress. Next slide, please. So learn to relax. Somebody was talking about, practice deep breathing, breathe slowly in and out 10 times, practice muscle relaxation exercise, give a massage or get one, take a warm bath. This is all for your physical stress, can easily go away with all of that. Okay. Next, please. Slow down. Okay. Know your limits. Cut back on a number of non-essential things that you're committed to. Do not watch this TV too much. Set aside some time for you to do non-essential things. Okay. Hey, I'm gonna do some non-essential things, but only for 15 minutes. Just do it. Meaning that's the 15 minutes or 20 minutes you're gonna watch TV, learn about Corona, go through the WhatsApp, looking only at the Corona news. I know you can do that, but do not do too much. Okay, you cut back on the non-essential things. I'm not saying do not know it, but just cut down. Next slide, please. Yeah. So and then manage your anger or whatever it is. work the garden, clean your house, wash the car. If you're so upset about, you've been laid off or you've been given a notice, I know it is very important that you will get angry, but some of the things that you can do is some physical activities will help you, to cool you off. So that's very important. And the next slide would be take up some hobby, right? Play is as important as work. A lot of people are playing carom boards these days, and snake and ladder, Ludo, whatever that you could play at home. Try and do it. Do something that you enjoy, bringing balance to your life. Do something nice for someone else. Take up a favorite sport. Probably some of you would have never jogged for life. Now it's a good time to jog. Please do that. So these are the things that's definitely gonna do it. And most importantly, the next slide, you need to laugh. It's very very important. Maintain your sense of humor. I know for some of you it might not be possible, but let's try and do something fun. Rent a movie in Netflix or on Amazon if you guys have money, or there are a lot of free downloads that's available. Just watch. Be sillier, play with your wife, play with your children. Do something that makes you laugh. So this is very very important. The next slide, please. So you can learn to manage stress more effectively by practicing coping strategies that we've discussed. Just be patient. Changing old habit is hard, but you can do it. Accept change as a fact of life. That's very very important. And please believe in yourself. This too will pass. The next slide. Um, so that's all I have for you guys. I hope that there are a lot of things that we've learned, and I'm going to be sharing this PPT with you. You cannot follow or take everything, but we have about about 20 people or 39 people here. You may take some chunks of some advice or some tools or some strategies that we have learned. Take that and practice, and believe that our God is so big than anything else that we have today. This too will definitely pass. And never lose hope. Continue to de-stress yourself and have a wonderful positive emotions around you, and we will have a greater life. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you guys.
Happy lockdown.